your opinion, and make the most of experience. This is unique moment. So I hope this is a little words for me. Yang lagi ada Amerika dan Indonesia, akhirnya ada perbedaan budaya yang sangat berbeda. Nah, kan perbedaan itu tidak hanya dibuat semacam, tapi juga nanti bisa menjadi bagian dari kesatuan tersebut. Ini sehingga benar nanti anak sekalian semuanya tolong nanti ini kalian lebih antusias, lebih termotivasi, dan harapan kami nanti ini adalah menjadi inspirasi bagi sekalian, tentunya dalam mengembangkan keterampilan dalam berbahasa Indonesia. Demikian dari saya. Mohon maaf, saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pada acara native speaker ini, saya selaku kepala madrasah untuk kita buka dengan bacaan Islam. Bismillah. How are you today? Fine, and you? Alhamdulillah, good to hear. So I'd like to play a game with you to introduce myself to you. Would you like that? Yes. I'm going to write some sentences on the board about myself, but some of the sentences are true and some of the sentences are false. I can bring I'm going to give you a minute to talk with your friends. I want you to decide which ones are true and which ones are false. Diskusi. Two, four, five.
Lah siku wis to sampai PL. Siku sampai PL. Loh, iki kok menang dhewe iki. Wah, iki MTS kabeh. Iki bikin MTS kabeh. Astel kabeh. Iya. Kok iki wae. Oh ya, selik.
Are you finished? Yes. Now, let's take your results. Number one, true or false? True. The overwhelming majority says false. I'd like to run down true or false. True. I can treat them with water. I come from a city. My hobby is fishing.
You don't like what people think, do you? Five possible answers. You go. It's not bad. This school year, I had 3 classes get 0. So you're doing quite good. But I think you are still disappointed. Am I right? Yes. So, what can you do to fix it? Okay. Ooh, I like that. Yes. What do you want to ask? Let's make a question for this. Let's make questions for all of these. Take a minute. Think. What questions can we make with these different statements? If you think you know, raise your hand.
Diskusi.
Don't be shy. The biggest part of making. Yes.
Have you lived on 4 different islands?
Tripote ya Pak. Kajian tripote kita PPS. Kayak gini nah, live gini Mbak ya.
Okay. Let's make a question for the next one. Yes.
Do you like to eat rendang?
Yes.
Can you breathe underwater? You guys, some of you? Oh, yeah.
Don't be shy.
Can. Raya, you can. Raya, can you work? Let's go ahead, Raya. Others. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Where do you come from?
Why not football?
I like that, but let's also someone else have a question? Yes?
Please go help.
Okay. Now, so we've got 5 plus 1. One of those questions stands above the others. Which question is it? One of the questions on the board is superior to the other questions. Which question is it? Actually, no, 2 questions are superior. Why are those questions superior? Why are these 2 questions better than all of the rest of the questions? let me demonstrate it to you. Let's say I want to know something about you. Perhaps I'm hosting you in my country, and I ask you, well, do you like fritters? Do you like to eat fritters? Do you like to eat fritters? Fritters. Fritters.
What is that?
Do you like to eat mole? Mole is actually food. Yes. Do you like mole? Do you like to eat pesca al mojo de ajo? He says yes. I know about one of you. I've asked 3 questions so far, and I only know one thing about one person. Do you like frijoles? Do you like carnitas? Carnitas.
What is that?
Well, it's little pieces of meat that are cooked.
Oh, we like it.
Oh, okay. So how many questions am I up to so far? How many questions have I asked you so far?
5.
5. And I found out 2 pieces of information. And there are a lot of you here. What kind of questions am I asking you?
Yes. What's your favorite food?
So let me try that. Let me try that question. What's your favorite food?
Indomie.
Everybody. What's your favorite food? Everybody answer.
Indomie.
You know.
Our favorite
Our favorite food is noodle.
Do you see how with one question I got a lot of information? Okay. So yes, no questions have a place, but questions like where do you come from, what is your hobby? So let's change this. What should we use here? What question should we change this to? Okay, I like that. So, check. Can we write a different question for that? How can we change that question?
How many islands have you lived in?
Which should it be?
How many islands have you lived in?
Correct. Okay. Now, what about this one?
Are you an African?
I think some of you were trying to say something like maybe skill or special skill. That's fine, I like that. Ability to perform. Okay, so I think we're ready.
Yes, sir.
So,
How many islands have you lived on?
I've lived on 3 islands.
That is The island.
Java. So,
What is your ability?
well, I can breathe underwater.
Oh my God.
And you can breathe underwater too.
Yeah.
And I come from a small town in Idaho. You thought Long Long was out of the way. I come from a more out of the way place. Okay. And
What is your hobby?
my hobby is cycling.
Why not football?
Not fishing.
It's not football because I'm not good enough at football and I'm not good enough at coordinating with other people. I have limited time and cycling suits my limited time. I can say, I've got half an hour. Let's go for a bike ride. So it's more fun. Let me give you a couple of minutes. Think of any questions you want to ask me. Do not be afraid of anything. If you ask an inappropriate question, I will tell you politely that it's inappropriate. Do not be afraid. Think. 1 minute. Talk to each other. Think of some questions. While they're thinking of their questions, I have a question. Yeah, this would be good, because I still have some time before I need that stuff. Okay. You've got your questions? Yes.
From the three islands you have lived on it, which is the best and why?
All around Java is the best
Java is key.
because it's the easiest to find things on. It has the most mellow people. It's easiest to get around. And yeah, Java. It's not to say that I don't like Sulawesi and I don't like Kalimantan. I like them, but Java is easier.
Java is the
What else? You only have one question. Read. All the questions people want to ask. You think of your questions, I'm going to plug in my charger.
Oh, kabel sambung ada kabel. Gimana? Benar. Pegangkan ya.
What is your culture shock in Indonesia about Indonesian food?
Oh, yes. I like spicy food. I liked spicy food before I came to Indonesia. And when I came to Indonesia, I discovered that Indonesia has spicy food. Oh, yes, that sounds very good. I like spicy food. But I do not like fish. And so I was invited to a man's house. He was aware that I didn't like fish. He prepared dinner for me, rawon. And I said, oh, good, rawon, it's safe. I was living in Sidoarjo. land of Bandhan and Udam. And I understand that. I knew that before I came. But this man was so nice to prepare Rawan because he knew that Rawan didn't have fish in it. Great. So I put everything, you know, the rice, the rawon, the sambal, and the keropok, and I sat down and I started eating. I said, why do I smell fish? Something is not right in my opinion. And I kept eating and I kept eating. I said, it must be sambal. Why? Why does sambal have fish in it? Sambal is supposed to be fresh, and spicy, and exciting, and salty, and sour. Fishy? Yeah, that was a very serious bit of culture shock for me. So, to this day, I avoid sambal terasi because I just don't like fish. It's just the way it is. Anything else? Nothing else. Sounds like ask. Don't be afraid. Ask. Yes.
Lesson 3, class 2.
If you can't ask any more questions, I'm just going to have to go to the next part. But maybe I'll give you a chance to ask some questions after that. Actually, I don't know, I need one more little guys. So, one of the things I have been asked to do is to present to you a little bit about where I came from, what it's like to live in America. It's, let's see if we can. Oh,
Okay.
by the way, what is that?
Mountain.
Okay. What mountain? Do you know what mountain that is? Do you know what mountain that is? Samaru is a good guess, but it's not Samaru. Another good guess, but it's not Brahma. A little bit farther off. Huh? Yes, sorry. It's a picture I took one day riding on the train. So here we are on Java. And we've already discussed that Java is a pretty nice place. But I'm not from Java. Boy, I can't see the arrow. I'm from the United States. I grew up in Idaho. Now, to give you a little background, Idaho is about 40% bigger than Java. So, in the grand scheme of things, similar in size. It's only 40% bigger, not 500% bigger. Just a little bit bigger. But it has less than 2 million people. So think about Java, and think about the population of Kabupaten Lamongan spread across the whole island. Not many people. Very empty. I'll show you with this map. Zooming in. One reason is Idaho has a lot of mountains in it. The whole middle part is full of mountains up to the north. It's kind of big and flat. But there's something about it. How many of you have visited Bromo? Mount Bromo? Any of you? Never. Okay. Someday you should visit Mount Bromo. It's a nice place to visit, at least once in your life. It's close. Have you heard anything about Bromo? About the conditions of Bromo? Yes. What else? Beautiful view, big mountain. What else? Is it hot? Okay. So the weather in Bromo is like the weather in the town that I grew up in over here in summer. So the hottest time of the year, it gets to 25, maybe 30. Yeah, and I want to point out, so I'm going to show you some pictures. This is a little mountain in the middle of nowhere. I want you to pay attention to it because I'm going to show you some pictures looking to the east at some large mountains over here. Also looking to the west. And then also looking to the north. There's not a lot to the north. But they're going to be from this mountain right here, just outside of Rexford. So, looking to the east, it kind of looks like this. There's mountains off in the distance, farms. This is from March. In Idaho, where I grew up, it's still very snowy in March. Okay, down here the snow has melted. But this is higher in elevation, and so it's colder. Where I grew up is about 1,600, 1,700 meters in elevation. That's one of the reasons why it is cold. But we do have some lovely mountains to look at. These are called the Teton Mountains. They're quite famous in America. And there they are going up. They're actually in the next state. They're not in Idaho. There they are from up close. This picture is in May. There's still snow in May. You hear places, so they have 4 seasons, okay? 3 months for spring, 3 months for summer, 3 months for autumn, 3 months for winter. Where I come from, maybe 2 months for spring, 2 months for summer, 2 months for autumn, 6 months for winter. 0. This is why I live in Slovakia. No, they didn't drive to the airport and pick me up from the airport, although it was close. There we are looking to the north. And we have sand. It's interesting. It is a desert. And we actually have some desert sand in Idaho. It's a park. You can go play there. And people with motorcycles can go ride their motorcycles there. But the problem is, you need a 400cc motorcycle to ride on the sand. 100cc, 200cc is not enough. It takes a ton of power to ride on the sand. But in America, we don't have cc limits, so it's not a problem. They are looking to the west. That's my father. And we have some nice, pretty mountains, although it's hazy. You can't see very clearly sometimes with the year. that's just the way it is. But they're quite a pretty place. It's called Williamsburg. There they are, up close. Again to Maine, and there's still snow on top of the mountains. It's really cold. And we've got like grass and bushes. We don't get trees in a lot of Idaho because there's not enough water. You want big trees, you have to have a lot of water. So that was looking to the east, the Tetons are here. We look to the north at the sand, and then to the west over here at these mountains. Now, so many people want to see winter. Okay, this is kind of what winter looks like. It is beautiful. Really, everything is stiff, slow, your joints hurt, you don't want to move. It's very unpleasant. It's fun for about 1 or 2 hours, and then after that, it's cold, and you just want to go inside next to a fire and warm up. That's my opinion of it. Some people really love winter. I have a friend who he hates hot weather. He loves winter, so he's having a good time right now. This is what the roads can look like. And this becomes a problem. If you take ice and put it on the floor here, and then step on it, is it safe? Okay. The streets become very slippery in winter when the snow falls on them. And you have to be very careful how you drive. You learn how to do it, and we do it successfully. But it takes a lot of patience and practice. And also, this is the reason why in America we have very few motorcycles. You have to have a car. If you have to have a vehicle to transport yourself, you need one you can use all year round. And the car will. Whereas a motorcycle in this place, you can use it for 6 months. You just can't use it the other time of the year. There's another picture. But we have snowmobiles. Snowmobiles are cool. I'll show you another picture. There's a snowmobile. So it's got an engine in here. Snowmobiles, again, when it comes to CCs, in America, the CCs are huge. That snowmobile is 400 cc's. And that's a small snowmobile. Big snowmobiles are 1,000 cc engines. And engines as big as cars. And they've got skis to steer in the front. And then they have a belt. It's like a conveyor belt, but used to push the machine forward. Instead of carrying product on top, it's like an upside down conveyor. Very fun. They're all automatic. They use the same automatic technology as an automatic motorcycle with a belt that makes you go here. And they're quite exciting. And I started to like winter when I got snowmobiles. Which one is me?
The left one.
The left one? Good guess. Here I am, riding my snowmobile. This is my best friend from high school. He's 2 meters tall. He's huge. So here we are playing in the snow. This is what we call fun in the winter. And there it is. That's from my house. That's my backyard. And so in one night we got that much snow. This is because it's the backside of the house and the wind blew it off of the roof. And it goes a little bit thicker here. This isn't the actual snowfall. The actual snowfall is about 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters. To have 40 centimeters in a night, yeah, we can have that. 40 centimeters in a night. And then we get to have a snow day. School is off, canceled for the day. If we get like 40, 50 centimeters of snow, no school. We go fast. Because we have to have time for the infrastructure people. There are maintenance in my home. There are people who maintain the streets. They have special trucks with blades on the front that remove the snow from the streets. And it takes them about half a day to do their job. Well, when we have to go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning, half a day is not enough. And so they just cancel school. It's built into the curriculum. I think we could take a maximum of 10 snow days before we had to extend the semester. So, but that's kind of the adventure. It also felt really cold. 2 years ago in winter, my family told me that the temperature got to, and it stayed there for 2 weeks. We do not have homeless people in Idaho. They don't exist. Anybody who's homeless and chooses to stay around for winter will not be with us very long. Usually homeless people are smart enough to leave because winters are too difficult. But that's my backyard in winter. That's the same place in summer. And we actually manage we get rid of it. But it can be green and beautiful and full of leaves and color versus it's the same place. You see that building, you see that tree, it's the same place, just summer to winter. In summer it's okay, it's an okay place to be. I like it in summer. But again, it's like Rome, so it still feels cold. You know. Anyway. That's what it looks like in the countryside, in the mountains, in the summer. It's very pretty. I think this is early June. And the snow is gone from the tops of the mountains. And it's quite pretty. It really is a pretty place. And that's the only reason anybody lives there, is it is pretty. Another view from the same point. Now, because we have a large amount of space and very few people, agriculture is the major industry of Idaho. We have crops. The major crop, the most famous crop in Idaho is potatoes. But we also grow wheat. Barley. We do grow a little corn. Not a significant amount of potatoes. It's too cold. The growing season is very short in Idaho, so only cold weather plants. You do a fair amount of dairy. That's cows for milk, cheese, and things. And in order to support dairy, we have hay farms. Hay farm, hay to sell. But this farm has wheat and potatoes. This This is a farm I actually used to work on. I'm an English teacher, I used to be a potato farmer. And we would have these large storage buildings to put the potatoes in for the winter. And the potato harvest was a big operation. We actually had a special school vacation for potato harvest. We go 2 weeks off to go help the farmers bring in the potatoes. That's how important agriculture was in my area. If you go to places like California, New York, Chicago, they don't have this because agriculture is not so important. They're big cities. I come from a small village. Question? Here is how we harvest wheat. Wheat harvest is wonderfully easy. This machine is probably 8 meters wide. Between 6, it's probably about, actually no, it's probably 6 meters wide. It's probably as wide as this room. In one pass, 6 meters of grain feeds into this machine. You can harvest, probably 50 hectares in a day. Okay? Now I want you to think about that carefully. Today, there is technology where one man, maybe 2 men, because you have to have 1 man to drive the truck, 1 man to drive the harvester. 2 men working together can harvest 50 hectares a day. Now, think about how you farm rice in Java. If somebody brings this technology to Indonesia today, because it exists, all they have to do is put it in a container and send it in Asia. What will happen to Indonesian farmers? Okay, the guy who owns the farm will be rich. But what about the people who go out and help in the harvest? What will happen to them?
Broke.
Yes. Where will they go? They'll be homeless. They won't have food. They won't have jobs. They might die, but most people don't like to just sit down and die. They will probably move to the cities like Surabaya, Jakarta, and make the problems in the cities worse. So, being the upcoming generation of smart people in Indonesia, people who will grow up and start being part of the decision-making process here, I want you to think critically about developments in technology. It's not a bad thing. America, we developed this because we don't have enough people for agriculture. But in Indonesia, you have a lot of people in agriculture. So you want to be very careful about adopting this kind of technology. Maybe some places it will be useful. But you have to be careful because people are more important than machines. And you need to remember that. But this is the kind of thing that we do. Outside of harvest time, 1,000 hectares managed by 3 people, no problem. So, we don't use a lot of labor in agriculture, especially when it comes to things like wheat. It's very low labor. Now, things like tomatoes, watermelon, fruits and vegetables, they take a lot of labor. So it's completely different to that. But for things like this, it takes. So there we are, back to Indonesia and Java. And just think about, take Java and just make it not much bigger. And that's about the size of Ireland. So, do you have any questions? You might. home, about me, about living in America, about school in America. Let's go to the next one so that you can see the map of America. I am suspicious. Oh well. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next activity here. There's one of you has the papers. Okay. Now, I'm going to enlist the help of a couple of people because we have an odd number of girls and an odd number of boys. I'd like to enlist Miss Hazel and Miss Juan to help me even the numbers. I'm going to give you, I have an article about a recent weather event in America. No, it's not fires in California. It's something newer. But some information is missing from different parts of the article. I have two copies. In the A copy, some information is missing. In the B copy, different information is missing. So I'm going to put you into groups, an A group and a B group. One for boys and one for girls. Or two for boys and two for girls. So A, B boys, A, B girls. And I want you to work together. And like I had you make questions to ask me about information about me, I want you to work together to make some questions for your missing information in the articles. Okay? So let me look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, 28, 14. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so you girls are A, you girls are B. You have to kind of separate. Now for the boys,
One team.
no, two teams.
Oh.
And Mr. Hazel, I'm going to have you join these two boys. You're going to be A. You three boys, you're going to be B. Now, you must keep your secrets. You're not allowed to talk to the A or the B team. Make the questions, work together. If you have notebooks, that's fine, take them out, write your questions in your notebooks. You can all have the same questions as a team, that's fine. Work together, help each other. And then later, I'm going to take people from the A team and people from the B team, and I'm going to pair them. And so there will be one person from A, one person from B, and you'll talk to each other. You'll use your questions. And then your goal is to listen. You can't show. You have to keep your secrets. Listen to the answers. If they make sense, write them in your missing space. I'll explain again, don't worry. So, I got you right there. So you're all going to join together. You'll be A, boys B, girls B.
A, B.
Okay, pass those around here. Boys, I want you to scoot back a little bit. Okay. A team, here you are, the three of you. Okay, boys, you're in enemy territory, surrounded by A's. They're yours. The 3 papers or 4 papers? I think a little. Okay. Now, I want you to scoot your chairs. Move your chairs over. Just pass them around. Everybody gets a copy. Pass them out too. And you girl.
pulpen dong.
That's not right.
Ambil.
Everybody have pairs later.
Ambil dulu nggak apa ambil? Ambil dulu.
So, work together. Look at the missing information. Look at the blanks. Read the article. Look at the blanks. What information do you think is missing? What questions should you ask? You can write your questions on the back of the paper. Did you bring your pens and pencils? Work together, work as groups. A's, work together, talk to each other. Share your information. B's, work together, talk to each other. Share your information. How do you think, how should we do number one? I don't know. What kind of, make a guess. Make a question.
Can you read the explanation of the
Okay, so you have an article, you have heartbeat, you have some missing information. So you work with the other people who are in part B, make questions to help you find, to help you discover the information that you're missing. Team A has the information. They're missing different information. They're going to make different questions. And then I will put you in pairs. A, B, A, B, A, B. And you ask each other your questions. One-on-one. Try to find out what the missing information is. Do your best. You might get it right. You might make a mistake. Mistakes are okay. I want you to try. Quick, girls. Team A, do you have bags over there? Okay. Don't share your secret. She's from the other team, but yeah. Okay. Work together, trying to make the questions. What information is missing?
Apa? Surah apa itu nih?
To part of the
Oh, ada penghapus? Oh, kedap bisa. Tak ambilkan. Ada Mister.
Remember, they're on the same team as you. You can talk to them.
Maybe just to wait. Can we sit on floor? Oh, guys. Yes. It's okay.
If you want to respectfully talk to them about their questions, you may. They're also B's. You can ask them. Keep your distance and be respectful. Work together. 6 questions about the missing information.
Diminum dulu. Diminum makan.
Would you like an example? Would you like an example? Yes. So here's a different activity I prepared in the same way. Okay, so let's take a look at the first blank here. The flight took off here, blah, blah, blah. So, are we talking about which type of question should we use for that? The flight took off near blah, 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 and lasted. Who, what, when, where, why, or how? Where? Okay, so where? You figure out what kind of information it is, choose the appropriate question word, and then start taking words from the sentence to build your question. Just like you did with the information that I gave you about myself. Some was true, some was false. You just took and changed the information into questions. That's what you need to do here. So, let's fill this in a little bit. What is that did? Well, since we put did, we put past tense here. What do you think there's here? Where did the flight take off last? The flight took off near. Where did the flight take off? You want to put in the air again? Where did the flight take off? Or do you want to erase? Just finish your question here. Where did the flight take off? Is that okay? Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Let's look at the third one. Blah blah blah. Attached all of this week due to what kind of question should we make for that? some consumer using what?
Mohon maaf nggih Bapak Ibu. Saya ganti live-nya di TikTok saja. Gantian.